on to another important topic. 3 days after a frenzied shootout between two rival gangs inside a courtroom in Delhi killed 3 people, including high-profile criminal Gogi, a screenshot has now emerged of a video conversation between one of the attackers, who's now dead, attacker called Jagga, and Gogi's rival Sunil Tajpuria or Tillu. Now, Tillu is in jail and it is suspected that it was him who ordered the killing of Gogi. However, the police is now trying to ascertain when exactly was this video call done. The screenshot is available, it's under investigation. It's actually on social media because apparently these gangs, whether outside the jail or inside the jail, gangsters inside the jail, their followers outside the jail, their aides outside the jail, pretty easily communicate. And then they actually take evidence of that and put it on social media to spread the message of how cool they are and how they are running these operations from inside the jail. Tillu is currently lodged in Mandoli jail. So it's not just a basic access to mobile phone, that's the story anymore. It's the fact that somebody has thought it was okay to do a video call. The attacker who went in the court, took out the gun and shot a gangster was having a conversation with another gangster who's in the jail. And this evidence is now being put out on social media. Such is the level of brazenness, fearlessness that we are actually looking at in this gang war. The alleged mastermind Tillu is in jail and allegedly seems to have planned the attack, or at least that's what the police is now looking at. He seems to have planned the attack from inside the jail. Not only did he give instructions allegedly to these attackers, he also gave them their blessings to go and carry out this entire operation. It's all now under investigation. One more time, what this is brought out is that criminals and gangsters and powerful, hardened criminals are not just enjoying the basic facilities inside our jails. They are running their full-fledged operations. And liquor and cigarettes, snacks and hookah, all of that is available. Clicking pictures, having a party inside the jail, putting out those pictures, using phones. There are pictures that are now on social media claiming of how gangsters are even using laptops inside the jail in our national capital. I mean, if there's a bigger mockery of how the system works, I don't know, cannot imagine. But we've become so accepting of this fact, so accepting of the corruption that goes on in our prisons, that nothing seems to surprise us anymore. You don't have to be a Shahabuddin, a hardened criminal who runs his entire empire from behind the jail. You can be any gangster and still manage to do so. Let's talk to our experts. Sunil Gupta, former law officer of Tihar Jail, joins me this evening. Dr. Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, and Subimal Bhattacharya, cyber security expert. And Subimal is with us because we also want to talk about how do you clamp down on this access to technology in prisons. Seems to be one of the biggest problems that we're facing right now. But before that, let me go across to Mr. Sunil Gupta. Mr. Gupta, you know, we see these reports come out often about XYZ number, 10, 20, 13 mobile phones seized along with several other, contraband from inside the jail. But the fact that somebody is able to hatch such a plot and give blessings to the attacker on a video call and then brag about it on social media, aren't we now allowing things to go too far?
Yes, this is very serious. Basically, doing the video call in the jail, This is very heinous offense. Basically, you see these gangsters, they are having a status symbol if they are possessing the mobile phone. Even though in every jail we are having the PCOs from where a prisoner can talk to his family member for 5 minutes, but these gangsters, they are very fond of keeping these mobile phones. They are serving three purposes by keeping the mobile phone. Number one, they are recruiting the other gang member by telling them that superintendent jail is our friend, or we have purchased the superintendent jail. So they are recruiting the other member. Secondly, they are telling the public that we are enjoying our jail tenure. And thirdly, they are threatening the witnesses that if you will do anything, we can also do anything because we are enjoying our jail tenure. This is the purpose of keeping the mobile phone inside the jail by the gangsters.
Wow, look at the way, they seem to be using their influence and threatening people. Mr. Vikram Singh, not a new problem, but it seems that they're getting more and more bold about it. I mean, now is the day and age where you're actually seeing them brag about it on social media. They're clicking videos, recording videos of their parties inside the jail and putting it out to send the message to other gangs.
Absolutely, Tanvi. Mr. Gupta was very polite about it. I'll tell you the ground reality. Everything is available at a price. You name it, whether it is drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it is hookah, whether it is a mobile phone telephony, and everything is available. The purpose is twofold: extortion racket, contract killing, and furtherance of the gang activities through the mobile telephony. Mobile telephony is the easiest thing to contain through the cell IDs and the tower locations, and also that if you put mobile jammers in the jails, which many jails do have, but at the opportune moment, the jammers are switched off for the convenience of the prisoners. You must have heard of many instances of UP, North India, Delhi, where certain raids by the district authorities yielded the recovery of mobile phones and other contraband and undesirable material. But when did we last hear of dismissal of complicit jail employees? Hardly any time. There have been cases of tunneling. There have been cases of wanted and criminals who tunneled their way through, who escaped. It is very seldom that a deterrent action at that has been taken against the Delhi jail staff. Now, mobile telephony is one thing that is the easiest to contain by just installing jammers. But jammers, as I said before, Tanvi, and I reiterate, often is just a showpiece, and it is switched off very conveniently to facilitate the conversation between the gangsters and the gang members. And also, you must have seen, Tanvi, that there have been cases where people inside the jail flaunting country-made weapons, making videos, and then putting it on social media. This, of course, requires, I have personal knowledge of the fact that in Singapore prisons, a person is subjected to CCTV footage so much that perhaps only the toilet is one place where he has some degree of privacy. Otherwise, there's not a single place or piece of clothing which is not under this constant surveillance 24/7. And this is what we have done. This Delhi episode is a wake-up call for all of us, and we need to upgrade our security within the jails and outside the jail. And also, there's a provision that in case of hardcore gangsters and terrorists, there should be evidence by videography and not by personal presence, because personal presence in the court has proved to be very, very counterproductive.
But you say you step up the security. Mr. Sunil Gupta, will that help if the security is corrupt? Whatever goes on inside the jail premises, surely everybody who's linked to that prison itself, the authorities are very well aware of these facts.
No, basically you see that if I talk about Tihar jail,
yeah,
we are having the high security zone where we are keeping the gangsters, and 24-hour surveillance is available. The Tamil Nadu Special Police, which is a specialized police, they are guarding the prisoner. But anyhow, we have seen that in these high security wards, the gangsters are very conveniently smuggling the mobile phone and drugs, etc. in these wards. Basically, you see, my experience say that 40% of these, all these smugglings of these contraband articles take place with the connivance of the prison staff. And 60% take place because of negligence of the security staff. So when we say negligence of the staff, for that we require to take strict action. Whenever such thing is discovered, they are required to take the strict action against these staff. But anyhow, I think that that is lacking. Because of that, we are recovering hundreds of mobile phones whenever searches are being made. So we should be very strict about this. Plus, we are having jammers which are old one. Like Mr. Singh was saying, that we were having the jammers of 2G technology, whereas now 4G, 5G have come. So we have to be update with these jammers. Plus, there are places in the jammers where jammer is working in the round sphere. There are places in the jammer, in the wards, where these jammers are not effective. The prisoners, they are using those places to have this telephone conversation.
Okay, so you're saying there are basically these black holes where the jammers don't seem to function and the prisoners take advantage of that. We were also discussing this earlier in the day.
Yes.
And we were told that often, depending on which jail and where it is located, it's also the local residents who start complaining because their network ends up getting impacted because of the jail jammers. So, obviously, Mr.
Yes.
Subimal Bhattacharjee, not a very simple thing to do, but is the technology now available to somehow clamp down? If you can't stop the hardware, can you at least stop the network itself?
So I think, the thinking is in that direction to get all these service providers, to put up their own towers, what is known as the dominant tower concept, that you are jamming every signal getting out of the jail. However, as Mr. Vikram Singh has rightly pointed out, that the complicity lies at various levels. And if you don't address it right there, whatever you put in terms of technology will not work. Now, today, if you see, as again, Mr. Gupta had also pointed out that right now, when 4G is almost on its way out and 5G take in, you still have the 3G jammers working. So jammers might, not keep pace with the requirement of technology, but today, a lot of the calls are being made from the data networks. So, where in the world, it will be a big problem if you stop all kinds of networks within the prison premises. I think, there are, jail is not meant, for a life today that possibly the internet offers to a normal citizen. I think if you are in prison, you have to put certain reasons, and that means that your communication to the outside world has to stop. So how not you actually stop the whole data communication that's happening, and of course cell phone sneaking in either through the connivance of the police staff, or even to some instances where rubber balls to which SIM card SIMs are tied and all those things have been known. But at the end of the day, a holistic measure with technology will only work when you do something foolproof. And in that foolproof, the first thing comes these points from which mobiles are sneaked in, and the criminals get their whole network to perform.
Yeah, like our experts are saying, if you have the money, you can get anything inside the prisons, and you can run an operation of any scale from inside the prison. So it's not, and we're beginning to see that. But at some point, we have to stand up and draw the line. This time, two people managed to get inside a courtroom with guns and shoot somebody down, and allegedly this entire plan was hatched by somebody sitting inside the jail. And he is very openly now sending this message to everyone saying, look, I got this done. I am still calling the shots even though I am in the jail. And Mr. Bhattacharjee, just very quickly to you, it may be far-fetched for me to wonder this, but is it possible to also track these groups online? They seem to be using social media to actually spread the message of how easy it is and how powerful they are sitting inside the jails. There are pictures and videos all over from their supporters and their fans and their chelas wanting to be criminals and gangsters like these guys.
No, I think, definitely online tracking, particularly the IP address through which such communications are happening among the gangsters and their networks, they need to be tracked. Most of the police forces across the country have been now well trained to be able to, track those networks. So I think, what's most essential is how do you look at the whole aspect of technology monitoring within the purview of the law. There are a lot of instances in the recent past that you have seen that, the government has run in with troubles even with the social media platforms, who generally are not very responsive to respond even to, law enforcement officials. And the recent changes to the Information Technology Act in the provisions of the guidelines for the information technology rules. Now, even in that, the main thrust has been to look at the national security angle and, in concomitantly the aspect of terrorists and criminals using this network. So there is a challenge that, how much of policing you do on the net so that, you don't also disturb the civilian aspects of networks. But then, these big networks with whatever steganography or other means that they operate with, I think today we have the capacity to be able to track them from the multiple agencies in the country, and we should do that.
Okay. Mr. Vikram Singh, my final question to you. How often do we see officials being held accountable for when such stories emerge? It's the jail authorities, how often are they held accountable, or is that a problem as well?
That is a major problem, Tanvi. Very seldom have we seen to fix responsibility and take deterrent action against the delinquent jail staff. And again, I say, where there is a will, there is a way. There are outstanding jail officers who have ensured absolute sanitization of the jail premises, where I don't say it is appropriate, where prisoners like Tillu and Gulli and all others went into hallucinations after 3 months of incarceration. I don't say it was right, but the fact of the matter is, where there is a will, there is a way. And there are those who not only promoted VoIP, voice over internet protocol telephony, but also promoted the mobile telephony as well. But yes, where there is a will, there is a way. There are jammers, and we can perfectly affordable jammers that can cater to the 3G, 4G, and I dare say even 5G technology. But yes, we need budget, we need upgradation, and we need constant review of the performance of the jail staff, so that those who are complicit, those who are found mixed up, those who are not in the gray area, they need to be moved into non-sensitive areas and non-professional areas, and compulsorily retired if required to be. But yes, jails have to be sanitized and kept like prison houses and not like sarais or inns or two-star hotels.
So what stops us, Mr. Gupta, from doing so? What are the actual, if you would want to be candid about this, actual real-life hurdles in fixing this problem?
Basically, you see, if we talk about Tihar jail, I'm not talking about other jails of the country. If we talk about Tihar jail, here there is no training to the staff, and you see that the prison staff, they are colluding with the prisoner in smuggling of the prohibited article inside the prison. They are colluding because they are not told about that these you have not to collude, or basically they are not trained. And you see, if I say about Tihar, here the supervisory level, they are clerks. They are supervising the uniform people, and they are very lax in their control. I am saying you with a sense of responsibility that clerks are managing the prisons, and if clerks are managing the prison, clerks are managing the uniformed people, then the things which are happening nowadays in the jail, these will continue to happen.
Okay, so that is something that we need to look at. Better training, awareness, and then accountability.
Yeah.
And I think at this point we need to draw the line and say enough is enough. Our jails, I mean, I don't even know why we're sending these criminals to jail anymore, and why as media are we constantly demanding that these gangsters be arrested and criminals be punished, because inside the jail their life doesn't seem to change. They seem to be thriving. Their gangs and their all of their illegal businesses still seems to be thriving in the same manner. This needs to stop. And at what point, if not now, when people inside a courtroom have managed to open fire, putting everybody else at risk? And if that doesn't wake us up, then what else will? Thank you to all three panelists for joining me on this conversation. The investigation is still underway, but this picture is actually proof, just like other visuals that we've got you in past, of how easy it is for people with money and power inside our jails to get access to whatever it is that they want. This is how badly broken and corrupt our system has become. But we don't talk about it. Then how will we fix it? How will we make our authorities accountable to actually fix things that matter? Think about it. Thank you for joining us. Hours after a violent face-off and a clash in West Bengal's Bhabanipur, BJP leader Dilip Ghosh sought postponement of by-polls in the constituency. Earlier today, BJP National Vice President Dilip Ghosh, who had gone to Bhabanipur for campaigning, was seen being chased away by TMC workers. The Election Commission has sought a report from the state government over this incident. A short while ago, a BJP delegation also met the Chief Election Officer over the incident and alleged that the attack on Dilip Ghosh was actually premeditated. Today was the last day of campaigning in Bhabanipur before it goes to polls on September 30th, when Mamata Banerjee is fighting for elections against Priyanka Tibrewal of the BJP.
ये पहले से एक अंदाज किया हुआ था, एक इनका कल्पना था, ये एकदम पूर्व निर्धारित था और इसीलिए इनके यहाँ जो कलकत्ता पुलिस है, जो कि पोशाक में तृणमूल कांग्रेस के कैडर है, वो कहीं नहीं देखा गया। जहाँ भी आप देखिएगा, हमारे दोनों नेताओं को बचा के लाया जो केंद्रीय फोर्स था। केंद्रीय फोर्स आज यदि बहुत तत्परता से और बहुत दक्षता से यदि काम नहीं करता तो आज बड़ा घटना होता।
जिस प्रशासन के मुखिया यहाँ मुख्यमंत्री खुद उम्मीदवार है, वहाँ अगर कानून व्यवस्था की इतनी और कमज़ोर है और लापरवाही है तो कैसे चुनाव पूरा हो पाएगा। पहले से ही हमको रोका गया, हम प्रचार ही नहीं कर पाए चुनाव में, तो फिर चुनाव कैसे होगा। लोग अगर हमारे जैसा नेता कार्यकर्ता एमपी का ऊपर अटैक होता है तो सामान्य जन घर से निकल करके पोलिंग करेंगे, मुझे उम्मीद नहीं है। इसलिए निष्पक्ष चुनाव होना संभव नहीं है, इसलिए चुनाव को रद्द किया जाए, स्थगित किया जाए। जब वातावरण अनुकूल होगा और चुनाव कमीशन अपने कार्यकर्ताओं का, अपने उम्मीदवार का सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित कर पाएंगे, तब चुनाव होना चाहिए, तब तक इसको रोका जाए।
Well, a fiery end to the campaign in Bhabanipur. Now we will now wait and watch how the people of Bhabanipur vote on September 30th. Remember, for Mamata Banerjee, is extremely essential this election for her to continue being the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Out of time on this edition of the Urban Debate. Thank you for joining us. Have a good night.